Hello and welcome to Ginny's Gin Livestream. I'm Ginny and my husband Rob will be joining me, and along with our partners Jeff and Amy Close, we founded Ginny's Gin a few years ago. So as those of you know, we like to use a lot of seasonal ingredients in our cocktails. Today it's incredibly sunny and warm here in Northern California in Sonoma County. It's like a spring day and it's just gorgeous out there. But we obviously are hoping for a lot more rain before winter is out, because we need it, and we need the snowpack too. So yeah, as you know, here it is citrus season, and we use lots of citrus in our cocktails over the winter months. But I thought it might be nice to change it up and use a veggie in one of our cocktails. So I was doing a little research and what have you, and this is fennel. The fennel is actually in the carrot family, although it's not a root vegetable because the bulb grows above ground. It is part of the carrot family. And these little fronds, the fennel fronds, they look a bit like dill. So the taste of fennel, for those of you that use it in your cooking, is licorice or anise, and it's a pretty strong flavor. So I had to think to myself, how am I going to use this licorice flavor in the cocktail? And for those of you that don't know, Ginny's Gin, actually one of the botanicals, one of the 10 botanicals that we use, is licorice root. So it sort of pairs quite nicely with the gin, I have to say. So one of the cocktails that when I was researching is the Corpse Reviver number 2, and that uses absinthe. So I think we say absinthe here, but in French it's absinthe. And so I figured, okay, I'll do a riff on the Corpse Reviver. This is packed with nutrients too. It's actually a really good veggie. It's low in calories and it's packed with nutrients, so it's a good thing to drink your veggies, right? Okay, so then of course I started going down the rabbit hole. I was researching absinthe, and I guess back in anywhere between 1850 and 1900, if you were really cool, you were drinking absinthe. And it's very high in alcohol. So Ginny's Gin is 90 proof. Absinthe can be anywhere from 90 proof to 148 proof. And turns out that actually absinthe was banned in a lot of countries in Europe and also America for about 100 years. They did a study, I guess, so the three main ingredients in absinthe are fennel, that's where it gets its anise. There's also anise in there, and then wormwood. And interestingly enough, because it's so high proof, you know, people were getting pretty drunk on this stuff, and there were some very famous people that would drink absinthe. So you've got Van Gogh, you've got Oscar Wilde, you've got Toulouse-Lautrec, and of course Ernest Hemingway, and they all drank this absinthe. And I do believe that, you know, under the influence of absinthe, many great books or plays have been written, and many paintings and sculptures created. So the ban actually came about because of, they claimed that it was hallucinogenic and, you know, all this good stuff, and it was just because they were drinking too much alcohol, high alcohol proof as well. But I guess there's something in it called fusion, and which is also found in sage and tarragon. You would have to have very, very, very high doses of this. They said it was, you know, it could kill you or what have you, but you would be killed by the alcohol before you get, you know, killed by the fusion. So anyway, so that's the whole you know, absinthe story. So when you make a Corpse Reviver number 2, you can either put a dash of the absinthe in there to get that wonderful licorice flavor, the absinthe flavor, or some bartenders, what they do is they'll actually pour a little bit into the bottom of the glass, and then they'll swirl the glass around and then toss it, which, you know, that's a little, unless you want to drink it, you know, another time or what have you, but that just sort of coats the inside of the glass and you get the absinthe, it sort of soaks into the rest of the cocktail. So then here's my fennel. I want to use it as you would absinthe, how to get that flavor, the licorice flavor, into the cocktail. So, as a lot of you who, you know, watch us regularly, one of the easiest ways to get a flavor into your cocktail is to infuse the simple syrup with it. So for those of you that don't know, simple syrup is 1 part sugar to 1 part water. You just boil it up and then, or just shake it up or what have you. You don't have to boil it necessarily. But in this case, I wanted to infuse the fennel. So I took half a cup of the fennel stalks, and I just sort of chopped them up roughly. And then I took a handful of the fronds, the fennel fronds, and I threw it into the saucepan with the sugar and the water, brought it all to a boil, let it simmer for about 5 minutes, and then I just took it off the heat and let it rest for until it cooled down, basically. And then you just strain it into your little jar or something, and then just keep it in the fridge. So it has this, the sugar has this wonderful anise licorice flavour, which is going to impart into the cocktail that I'm making. All right, so let's see. I am going to start with 2 ounces of Ginny's gin, which is pretty much where we start every time, isn't it?
130 proof.
Okay, so the one that we have is 130 proof. So just, you have to be careful with that stuff.
Cork's broken off in there for some
Oh,
reason.
no. The children have must been
It's
drinking it.
expensive too.
Yes, it is expensive.
60 bucks.
Yeah. Is it really? Yeah. So it's much cheaper to have the fennel itself. So 2 ounces of Ginny's gin into the jar, and then fresh lemon juice. There we go. And we're going to use the lemon squeezer. Take off the ends and then cut it in half, like so. There we go. And I'm going to do, what am I doing lemon juice? I'm going to do 1.5 ounces of lemon juice to the 2 ounces of gin. It's quite a bit of lemon. And again, nice and refreshing on a hot day like this. I'm red, so I feel really warm. We've got the door open and it feels like spring. Okay. It wasn't that long ago that it was pouring with rain and dumping with snow. Okay, so there's my 1.5 lemon. Just going to do this. Pits in there. Okay, there's that. And Lillet Blanc, which is French, and
I call it Lillet.
yes, Rob calls it Lillet, which is fine too. You can call it whatever you like. I'm going to do 2 ounces of the Lillet. There we go. 2 ounces of the Lillet, and then my fennel simple syrup. I'm going to do just short of an ounce. I think that's going to make it sweet enough.
Making 2 drinks.
Well, yes, it sounds like a lot, but we have to be able to fit it into one big cup. So, all right. So I'm going to do just shy of an ounce of the fennel simple syrup. Let's see, I just have a little bit of fennel frond in there too, left over. It escaped. Okay, there's that. And then, because we've got Valentine's coming up, so next weekend we will do a couple of red cocktails. We'll both think of something red that'll be very festive for Valentine's weekend. But when I go ahead and add these Péchu bitters, the barrel-aged bitters, this obviously adds a little bitter to it. It kind of offsets the sugar, obviously, but it'll make it this wonderful pink colour, which would be kind of nice for a Valentine's celebration. So I'm going to do like a pretty good dash there, so we get a nice colour. There we go, and then I'm just going to add some ice and I'm going to shake it up. Super simple. Very nice cubes. So we here in Sonoma County, we have been allowed, or the restaurants have been allowed to open up for outdoor dining. So one can sit outside when the weather's like this. It's pretty nice to be able to do that. So many of us have not eaten out or done any of that for months and months, so it's pretty exciting. And the restaurants have done such a great job of getting coverage for their outdoor spaces, and I know they've worked really hard to be able to, serve everybody, as many people as they can, 6 feet apart and what have you. So they're doing a great job, and I just, hope that everything can open up as soon as possible. Okay, so I'm going to give it a shake. 15 to 20 seconds to make it nice and cold. And as I always say, make sure that your glasses have been in the freezer, your shakers have been in the freezer, so because the cold is your friend. And you don't want your, Rob's just bringing his glass out of the freezer now. You don't want your cocktail to warm up too quickly. Okay, I think that's good. That's a nice colour. Okay. And I'm going to double strain it into, so you can put it in a Nick and Nora glass, you can put it in a coupe, whatever you have. And you know, it's kind of fun to invest in a little bit of extra glassware if you at home, because it is nice for you. One day when you have guests over, it's fun to offer a cocktail when they first arrive in some pretty glassware. So it's kind of fun. I'm going to use this one. It's slightly more open at the top than a Nick and Nora glass. There we go. There it is. Yeah, I got plenty there. I have some left over. It's for 2 glasses. Okay. There we go. And just for that extra little bit of licorice anise flavour, I am going to add a fennel frond. And there it is. The fennel infused Corpse Reviver riff. Okay, Rob has a really cool cocktail for you, a bit more difficult than mine. And off you go. Take it away, Rob. Okay, thank you.
Hi everybody. So today I'm going to stick with the theme that I started last week with blood oranges. And last week I added lime juice to the blood orange in equal amounts to kind of make it more tart, because oranges are really delicious. They just aren't bright enough to make a balanced cocktail by themselves. Today I am going to show you how I make a drink that we call Orange Julius, where I add citric and malic acid to orange juice to make it like really bright, so it makes a great cocktail. Today I'm going to do the same thing with blood orange. So I have 100 mLs of blood orange juice that I squeeze just to make this a little bit faster. So there's your 100 mLs, and it's just a little bit over that. And then to that, I'm going to add, you can get these in the grocery store, like a really cool grocery stores have this, citric acid and malic acid, and these are great food ingredients that naturally are in limes and lemons, and apples has lots of malic. So I've already measured out. So for 100 mLs, which is basically just, because everybody doesn't have 100 ml things to measure and they don't have a gram scale, but just to make this really easy, 100 mLs of juice, which this is also 3.38 ounces. So just a little bit less than 3.5 ounces in a regular measuring device or one of these. And in terms of the citric acid, 3.2 grams is 0.6 teaspoons. So it's not 3/4 of a teaspoon, but it's just a little bit of a overfull half teaspoon. And then it's exactly a half teaspoon of the malic acid that I measured today was 2 grams. So it's 3.2 citric and 2 grams of malic, or 0.6 teaspoons and 0.5 or half. And so you're just gonna mix those in. I already weighed them out and I double checked to see what their measurements would be to make it easy for everybody. And then we're just gonna kind of like incorporate that. They're actually quite soluble, so it really doesn't take a great deal to get them like that. And one of the things that I kind of learned over time is that, you know, lemons are never the same. Any citrus, they're always a little bit different. And so one of the really cool things that I like to do, because if the recipe says, you know, 1 ounce of lemon and a half ounce of simple syrup, well, it depends on the lemon. And so a lot of times I'll taste the juice. That's pretty tart, which is, it's supposed to be. So this is like exactly about as tart as a lime would be now. So to make the drink, now that we've got that all incorporated, we take our mixing tin out, and we're going to add 1.5 ounces of our acidulated juice, which has a great color, and I think the acid actually just kind of makes it even brighter. So there's our 1.5 ounces of juice. We're gonna put 2 ounces of the most fabulous gin, Ginny's gin. I know I haven't really practiced any of those like bottle tricks, but I'm thinking about it. So then Actually, this is going to be 3 ounces because I'm making a drink and a half. So 1, 2, 3. And that's why I did 1.5 ounces of juice, not an ounce, because that is a drink and a half just to make a full glass. And then we're going to take our simple syrup and we're going to go 1/2 ounce. Just right there. I don't have my glasses on, but just like, for me, just like 0.6 or more. Just because the juice is super tart. And then we're going to put in, this is a 10% salt solution, but I mean, you can just put a pinch of salt, but I like to put 3 drops of that in for a drink and a half. And then this drink tastes really great with vanilla. Oranges and vanilla go great together, so vanilla extract, 1, 2, 3 drops. You can put a dash if you don't have a dropper. And then we're gonna give, this is the trick, is to take the clean bar spoon and just kind of, like after you've got your sugar in it, and see where you're at. It tastes really like just barely sweet and nice and bright and tart. And then I've already measured out 1 egg white, which for a drink and a half is about right. So I'm just gonna drop that in there. And now we're gonna give the quick dry shake, because the egg whites will get foamier when they're not super chill or cold, like with ice. So just give it a quick dry shake. Get lots of froth going on. And then we're gonna pop it open. And we're gonna put in our really nicely frosted chilled glass. We're gonna take 1 big ice cube and 2 beautiful small ones. We're gonna drop them in the tin. Give it a quick shake. Cold glass, cold tins, lots of ice. And we're gonna open this little bad boy up. I used to use a glass one of these along, like they cost a bar and shaker, and they get vapor locked and you're really struggling to get open. These work so much better for me. I like the mixing tins. So, no reason to strain, but now we're just gonna fill up our little Nick and Nora glass. And what the egg white does is gives this beautiful creamy texture, but it also smooths out some of the bitterness that comes from citrus. And blood oranges have a lot of anthocyanins, which make it really healthful in addition to all the vitamin C. But there's a little bit of astringency, and I love this with the egg white. And then we are going to put a dehydrated slice of blood orange kind of floating on top right there like that. Mm. And then I like a little bit of orange bitters. So we're just gonna drop 1, 2, 3 little drops on there. It looks super cool. And this is the Blood Orange Julius.
And how beautiful is that?
Yeah,
especially
too.
Yeah. So for Valentine's, that would be a really good one. And as I say, next Friday we'll bring you another couple of cocktails that are a beautiful color, whether they're red or pink. But I think that's what
I've done this drink, but with just regular orange juice, which Valencia would be the best oranges for the regular Orange Julius. And out of like a group of all our friends, it's mostly everybody's favorite drink of all time. Mm-hmm. Super yummy.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right, time for us to have a drink. It's after 5 o'clock on Friday. And we should enjoy this beautiful sunset as well coming our way. Okay, guys, have a lovely weekend. We'll see you next week with some Valentine's fun. Okay, grab your cocktail. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Cheers. We like our own cooking.
We do.
Yeah.
Our own cocktailing.
That's pretty good. Actually, maybe you could have even used a drop more sugar because it's nice and tart.
Okay. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. And remember, you can always change the recipe to your liking in terms of sweetness. Obviously.
That's why it's good to taste it in the tin with the spoon that you throw away after, just to see where it's at, and then you can make adjustments to make it perfect every time.
Exactly. Okay, guys. Bye.